All right, so you're here. How can you get good free financial advice? Well, that's what we're gonna talk about in this video today, but what's the right free financial advice you should be getting? That's what you should be listening to right now. All right, so have you ever heard you get what you pay for, right? Obviously, we're talking about free financial advice. How do we get that free financial advice? Well, you're here right now, obviously, but I wanna make sure that we talk about what's good free financial advice and what's not. How do you know that your brother-in-law is the right person to talk to and maybe they're not? I want to give you the best resources for the free financial advice, specifically what's worked best for me in my life. Tune in because I'm going to share that towards the end of this video today. Okay, so first let's talk about the dangers of free financial advice, right? One, the obvious place, which is probably why you've even found this video in the first place, is Google or AI or something like that, right? Now I'll tell you that Google and AI are dangerous. I've actually done some videos about if I put in AI for financial advice, I get the same old traditional vanilla crap that you'd find just Googling anyways, right? Now they might compile it together, a nice little pretty thing, be able to give you some bullet points of here's the 7 things you do to create a good financial plan and all that kind of crap, right? But the truth is that Google and AI, they're just searching for the common threads. But the truth is that most people are not financially free. So if you want good financial advice, especially if it leads to financial freedom, you're going to find out it's the minority, the small percentage of us that have actually been there, done that, and still doing it today. And that's not something that AI is going to show you. That's not something that Google's necessarily going to put at the top of the page unless you put in just the right search words, which, again, even if you do, you may find the same old vanilla crappy advice. You're going to find the same stuff from financial advisors or experts in the media that have been telling the same thing for years. Yet despite that, and despite those people following that advice, that's the key thing, they're still following it, those people still aren't financially free. So do you want to do that or do something else? Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. How many times have people Googled and looked up information, the same old question that you've been asking, and yet they're still not financially free? That's right. It's because these people have done the same stuff that hasn't worked. The most popular advice you're going to find is the advice that doesn't work. I will tell you this, the best advice is going to be stuff that you probably will pay for. But I know you're looking for free financial advice. You're wanting to know, where do I find this free financial advice and what's good and what's not? Well, it's not going to be with Google or AI. Now, it's also not going to be found among family and friends. Now, you might have that rare friend or family member that might be that rich uncle, but I'll tell you this, going for that rich uncle or that rich family member may not be the best financial advice either, because the question you have to ask them is, how did they make their money, right? Where did their wealth come from? So for example, I had a friend that he actually became a dentist because he knew that the richest person in town was a dentist. So he said, you know what? I'm going to become a dentist because he is too. The problem is he's now in his late 30s and hates his profession. He hates being a dentist. Why? Because he was chasing dollars. And here's what he found out. Dentists, and I know this from firsthand experience, I have a lot of great friends that are dentists and orthodontists and people like that, but I will tell you, they'll admit themselves they are not financial experts. Now they know how to make great income, right? But making good income and creating wealth and financial freedom are two very different skill sets. They are not the same. So do not go in chasing advice of people that make good money. This is why financial advisors, many times people say, well, this financial advisor is successful, they're rich and everything else. How did they get rich? Did they get rich off of their investments? Or did they get rich off of selling you stuff? Read the shirt, by the way. They're paid to sell you crap, not make you more money. So many financial advisors I've known that look like they're wealthy, even the ones that I thought were financially free when I was a financial advisor, they weren't. Once they lost their job or they switched jobs or careers or something like that, they were scrambling to make more money because they did not have enough passive income coming in to cover it. Their investments really weren't good investments. They were just making a lot of money and doing it for show. And that's the thing. Don't just go for the people with the best cars, because some of the richest people I know drive average cars, right? Or drive maybe slightly nicer than average cars, and that's it. I'm one of those people, right? It's funny when I go to parties with different friends, I know I make the most money of all of them sometimes. And the crazy thing is I probably have the cheapest car. Now, I'm not saying the best financial advice is, for free financial advice is buy your cheap cars, right? I'm not saying that. It's because I just don't give a crap. Because once you create enough wealth for yourself, you really don't care about showing it off. In fact, sometimes you even try to unshow your wealth by just trying to be a guy that just sits around in jeans and a t-shirt or even shorts and a t-shirt when it's summertime and talks to you like this, right? And so That's the thing. You have to be aware that a lot of free financial advice from people, even family and friends, aren't going to be the best thing for you. This also includes people in your company, like coworkers. I even mentioned like HR, human resource representatives that are in charge of the benefits programs, like your 401k, your company 401k. They are not financial experts. They're literally just trained to know just enough about the 401k plan, how to enroll into it, what you're supposed to do with it, but they're not financial experts either. They're not financially free. I know when I went in, when I had my first corporate job, after I had my 6-month mark, they had us all come into a little meeting in a room. They said, congratulations, you've been here for 6 months. You're now eligible for a 401k. And I said, oh my gosh, like this is like Christmas, yay. What's a 401k? And they started talking about the 401k and here's all the advantages you get. And I realized, I said, well, okay, well that's cool, but the 401k, I mean, that's a good retirement plan. So that's it? That's my path? They're like, yeah, that's it. That's what you got. Okay, I'll start throwing my money in the 401k. And of course, when they matched that money on for free, I thought I was brilliant. I thought I was genius. But the truth is, guys, I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, I was honestly not. In fact, when I started investing in my 401k, the market started going down. Luckily, because they were throwing more money, it was just like throwing more money down the toilet. It's like, hey, I got $1 to throw down a toilet. Can you match one? Sure. And there it goes, right? That's what it was like with my 401k for those first few years. But I started to build it up, and it's like pretty soon I have a few $1,000, and then I started, building more and more. But the truth is, guys, that those people, again, they don't really have good financial advice. So where do you find the best free financial advice out there? So what about financial advisors? Are they the secret? I mean, do they offer free advice? I will tell you this, most financial advisors, if they offer you advice for free, what it means is they are commissioned only, or they get paid a percentage. Now, there are fee-based advisors, but obviously you're here for free advice, right? Well, the financial advisors that give free advice, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting for free, right? I mentioned you get what you pay for. Well, I was a financial advisor that offered free advice. How was I paid? I was paid commissions. Based on the money you put into something, I got paid it. Much like, they talk about management fees and things like that. If you're a money manager, in this sense, and I'm talking about a financial advisor or planner that manages money, has what's called assets under management, or AUM, as they call it. You would actually get paid a percentage of people's money they put in there. So I get paid that 1% fee or whatever it might be. Now, there's other times I might have got paid commissions off of something, and maybe you put money in an annuity. They might have paid me 5-6+% in that first year for the money you dumped in, and then they pay me a little bit of residuals on the back end, right? So I would get paid off that. If you put money into an insurance plan, I would get paid off of that when you paid money into that. I was getting paid commissions. The only problem with that advice is that no matter how good-hearted that financial advisor is, and I know I was the one that wanted to give good advice to people regardless of the money, still the money aspect affected my bias, right? Because if I knew that I could offer you two different things, and then one of them would pay more than this option over here, guess which one I'm going to be leaning towards? Even though I wouldn't want to say I'm being lenient or biased towards that option, guess what option is going to capture more of my attention? You got it, the one that pays more, right? So you want to make sure that you're not just going for advisors that make commissions or even just charge you management fees, because even if you don't make money, they're still getting paid. It's one of the most criminal things I think happen out there today is that financial advisors get paid no matter what. All you have to do is have money with them, they get paid. This is why also if you try to take money away from them, they will tell you that's a bad idea. Why? Because it takes money from my family. That's why. That's what they'll not tell you. That's what they should be telling you in reality. But they're going to say, oh, whatever you're going to put your money in outside of me is risky, right? I'm here to tell you that's not the true case. So beware of financial advisors, especially if their advice is require them to actually make money off of you putting money in something that they offer. That is a scary place to be. Even fee-based ones, still a little bit better, but you gotta be careful too because they have their own biases. So where do you go for this advice, right? I like to go for advice where people have been there, done that, and doing what you want to actually be doing, right? And they're still doing it today. So I'll tell you my advice, my experience as a financial advisor, I left because when I realized that I couldn't even get my dad to retire, even though he paid off all of his debt, he'd been stuffing money in his 401k, getting the match and doing everything he was supposed to be doing, it wasn't enough. And when I started to open my eyes and look at the reality, even though I didn't want to see it at first, when I started to really look objectively at my own clients who had had decades of financial advice from other financial advisors before me, they could not retire either. Even worse, even the financial advisors I knew that had been working in that industry for 30 years, they were old enough to retire themselves, they didn't have enough money to retire. I started to realize very quickly that the financial advice that I got as a financial advisor and I was giving as a financial advisor was not working. And so I chose a different path. I decided to look where there's evidence. This is what I recommend for you. Look for where there's evidence. Find those people that actually have been there, done that, and still doing it today. So what did I do? I actually started doing things like with real estate investments, more alternative investments outside of Wall Street. I started doing Main Street investing. I started investing in things like different types of real estate. And there's a variety of things that most people don't even know exist out there today. Other videos on our channel for that, so be sure to like and subscribe so you see more of these. There's also other things in the business world. You can invest in businesses that are not stocks. You can actually invest in things like commodities, oil and gas. You can invest in gold, silver, things. Heck, even Bitcoin is an alternative investment technically, right? Even though I don't really recommend it, it's another option that financial advisors do not want to tell you about. Either one, because they don't know about it, or two, they don't get paid to tell you about it, and that's why they never recommend it. You want to find that financial advice that works. And I'm telling you, free financial advice is hard, but guess what? You're here on YouTube. It's freaking free. Well, unless you pay for YouTube Premium, then good job. You don't get commercials. But if you're here, you're not paying for YouTube. You're getting advice. Find those of us that have actually been there and done that. Guys, I retired when I was 28 the first time. And even after I lost my money in the last recession, I made it back more so. I made it back tenfold to where I'm at today, where again, I'm once again able to retire. I'm work optional. I work because I want to, not because I have to. And that's the whole mission of these videos on this channel, this Money Ripples channel. You've got to subscribe to this channel. Be sure to have more of these things because the education I offer is from real life experience, not just from me, but also many, many of our clients that have done the same thing that have become work optional themselves, where they can work or they can quit. They can retire, even retire young. That's something they can do. So I recommend right now, go and subscribe to our channel today. And by the way, if you want even some more, you're like, man, I'm hungry, give me some more, go to our Money Ripples podcast channel where we actually have podcasts and interviews with other people besides just me, but other people have been there, done that, and still doing it today. Be sure to subscribe to our 2 channels today.